Hey guys, MGB Easy here. Thought I'd give you a quick little video to show you how easy it is to replace these little corner seals here and to make sure you're not going to get any leaks coming in. Common thing on MGs, water will come in right here at this little seam. You can see the seam in the metal, and the seal doesn't seal it very well on your windshield. So water will sneak in here and then it's going to travel across, and there's a hole right up beneath this. That hole usually tends to lead right in to the inside of the car where it's going to drip onto your leg. First thing is that I'm going to show you where the bolts are to remove your windshield. It's really not that hard. Right below this part here, you're going to go underneath. I've already removed this side, but you can see this hole right there. That's where one bolt is. And then just above it, I'm getting under the dash here. Looking at the back, you can see that other hole up at the top. Right there, that's where the other bolt is. Something that can be a little bit difficult about these is the dash is in the way for that top bolt. But if you look right underneath, there's a screw right there holding the tab that helps mount the dashboard. Pull that screw out, you'll be able to pull your dash back just enough to get it. I'll show you on the other side. See how I'm able to pull it back? That's going to give you just enough room to pull those bolts. And then the next set of bolts is right here in the center. Just these two. 1, 2. These help mount on this rod, which holds tension to the center of your windshield, which pulls it down and helps it seal on the center. Okay, bolts are removed. At this point, you should be able to take it and give it a couple of wiggles. It's going to loosen some things up here. Yep, see how I can move it out. Now, as you're going to remove this, you're going to want to grab somebody to help you out so that either of you can be on each side. And know that right below here, the bracket comes down at an angle and it kind of curves a little bit. So as you pull this out, don't just go straight up. You got to kind of bring it up and tilt it out in order to get it out safely without hurting things. And that'll be the easiest way to do so. Now for those that are a little more able-bodied, you can kind of get yourself in here. Careful, don't lean on your windshield. You can stand up in here like this with your feet on either side. Grab the windshield here. If you just don't have anyone available, again, probably get someone to help you. And then you can kind of lift it out like this. Voila, windshield out. And then carefully step your way out. And there you go. Okay, now that our windshield is out, I want to show you guys a little bit more about how this leak works. Everything here, it's not gonna leak. There's a good contact here with the seal and the body of the car. But it's when you get over here that things get a little messy and things are a little harder to seal. What's gonna happen is water is gonna come in through this seam and it's gonna gather up in this area, and it can come down here and start dripping, and it can start ruining your interior, or sometimes it'll go down this hole and it can get in, drip along the dashboard, drip on you. Anyway, either way it comes in here, it's gonna get on you or ruin your interior. So we're gonna talk about when we put the windshield back in, how we can fix that. Find yourself some nice spot to put this. Make sure you put something soft like a cloth, a rag, big rag, or towels, or a big foam mat underneath it so you don't scratch things up. But it's these that we're gonna pull off here. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. There we go. Work that loose. There you go. That is the old one. We don't need it anymore. Okay, I'd also suggest in here cleaning all this up, making it nice and clean, get all the dirt and grub out. Sometimes there's RTV in here. People try all sorts of ways of getting these things to seal because they always leak. Okay, I want you guys to notice something here. See how the seal from the windshield kind of lips up onto this bracket or bar here? We need to cut it down a little bit, because when we try to slide this on, that's going to create a weird contact spot, and we need this thing to sit flush all the way around the mounting pole. So we're gonna cut that back just a little bit. I think that's another reason why mine was leaking. It's because this just was incorrectly installed. So I'm gonna take razor blade, and let's go across here and I'll cut it. Don't go too far back. You want it to come right up to that edge, right here, because they're all gonna come together and mesh, and that's gonna help it seal. Okay, that's been cut back. Now we'll take our new ones, we'll slide them on. They'll be really snug, which is what we want. That'll help create a seal. Oh yeah, there we go. Fits on really good. Press it down as much as you can. When you put the windshield back in, that'll also press it down, and it's gonna press all of this together. It's gonna mash it. And that's what we want, because that's gonna help it to seal even better. All right, so the next thing we gotta do is we gotta clean that spot that the windshield sits. So what I suggest is taking a wet rag, wiping away all the dirt, make sure it's really wet. That'll reduce any scratching that could happen. And then if you've got silicone here, maybe use some goof off or some sort of RTV remover, or you can try to peel it off with your hands and get rid of all the RTV that's there. Everything that you can, try to make it really clean. Now I'm trying to set this in just a little bit. I'm going to move the wipers out of the way and just up on top of the windshield. Now if you have got a new seal, you're going to want, before this thing seats all the way, to kind of pull some of it out. You don't have to do all of it yet, because if you get some of it, then you can run your hand or a plastic blade across and pull the rest out. But I'm making sure mine's all good. Kind of shake it in a little bit. Sometimes you'll get one side that'll catch, push it forward, and then it'll go down. All right. And you'll have to play with it a little bit so you can get your holes to line up on the sides and up here in the middle. But once you've got it kind of in place, secure the center first. Don't tighten them, but secure them so that they're in place. Then move to your sides and make sure everything's in the right spot. Okay, so I've got it kind of in place. I'm gonna put those center ones in. Then I'm gonna have to kind of move and adjust and push and pull and things like that to get the holes to line up on either side. And once those are in, tighten everything up. Make sure it's all looking nice and seated to you. As you go around, look at your new seals, make sure nothing looks weird about them. And then we'll go over how to seal up our seams. And the other thing you gotta watch for is that right there. You don't want your seals tucking under like that. So what you can do, grab yourself one of these, slide it under, and you can pull it out. Sorry, camera work here is not all that amazing. There we go. You can get it to pull out, and then as you push down and work it in there, you want it all to flare outward. Same with here. You don't want this tucking under. You want it all to flare outward when you're done. Once you've gotten your side bolts all tightened up, go ahead and tighten these center ones down. And that will pull everything down and nice and tight and seal it. You'll see these, they'll spread a little bit. That's what you want. You want them to flare out a little. That's gonna tell you that they're pressed down and that they're sealing. And that's gonna get you the best seal result that you're looking for. Okay, for this next part, you're gonna want something like this, plastic, metal, whatever you need, something that's thin, so that you can get under these and you can lift it up. That's how you're gonna be able to get some sealant in there. And then you need to get yourself some of this clear RTV silicone, something clear. You can use black, whatever you want. I like clear, because if there's a little bit of excess left over, I'm not gonna see it. It's gonna be a little bit invisible. We're gonna wipe off the excess. Have a rag ready so that you can do that. Preferably something with a nozzle so you can really get in there and squirt around. Now remember, you're trying to get on both sides of that seam. That's gonna help you a lot. Sometimes it might be helpful to get right here, right in the seam of between these two seals. That can help you out a little bit too. So we're gonna try and get some silicone ready to go here. Lift it up. Once you've got it in there, press it down and let the excess come out. Really press it so that you can work it into the gaps, and that way it'll seal. And I'm gonna get a little bit over on this spot here. And then you can do the same on both sides, and then make sure you just wipe up the excess. And then if it dries, you can also scrape some off. That always works too. There we go. No more leaks.